Now to the legal landscape. Our legal analyst, attorney Dan Adams, joins us every Monday to break down the biggest cases happening across Wisconsin and the country. Dan, good morning to you. Last week, Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman issued a new policy restricting when and where Milwaukee police officers can engage in foot pursuits. Break down this new policy and why it's already receiving some pushback.
Yeah, good morning. So, Milwaukee Police put out these new SOPs, these standard operating procedures regarding foot pursuits. And you think, well, foot pursuits have been going on as long as there's been policing. When an officer gets out and engages, runs after essentially a suspect or even a citizen, what is that all about? Jeffrey Norman decided that there needed to be a written down policy. So they released an 11-page policy on what the department's functions are, their expectations, and importantly, their binding rules are when an officer engages in one of these foot pursuits. The issue with this is that it's binding on the officers as a basis for discipline. If something goes wrong, if there is a citizen complaint, they will look at those standard operating procedures to see if there's a reason for discipline of that officer. Now, these SOPs don't really include a whole lot of new fodder. The biggest part of this is that they talk about reasonable, articulable suspicion. That's the long-standing standard for an officer to be able to legally detain somebody for an investigative purpose. So basically what they're saying here is, hey, if you are going to engage in a foot pursuit, you better have this articulable reason for wanting to detain that person first and foremost. So in addition to that, they're including, 7, 8, 9 pages of kind of practical considerations for engaging in a foot pursuit, putting this all together in this large document that they've never had before. There's never been an SOP for foot pursuits for Milwaukee Police. So, of course, the union, this being a new basis for discipline potentially, is pushing back on this, saying, listen, we've been following these type of rules forever. There's no reason to put together an 11-page document that reads more like a training document than an actual operating procedure. So it's very controversial among the ranks of Milwaukee Police, and that is a new development this week.
Yeah, union president saying the language in that policy is really not clear and concise. Dan, the Department of Justice has also launched an investigation into Democratic Representative Eric Swalwell, who resigned from Congress last week. What can you tell us about that investigation, and will he actually face any criminal charges?
Yeah, this is a huge, incredible fall from power. Swalwell was the leading contender for the California governor primary, which was going to be held in June. The dam burst. There were rumors of this type of impropriety with Swalwell for years. The allegations right now are that he assaulted 2 women, one in New York, one in California, and then 3 staff members said that they'd been harassed by Swalwell. So the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and the Alameda, that's California jurisdiction, District Attorney's Office say they are investigating those alleged assaults. Those are state prosecutorial entities, obviously, sexual assault being a state crime. The state prosecutors and police would be looking at that. Now, what's interesting about this is DC's U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro has opened up a tip line for any information about Swalwell. That's a federal prosecutor. District of Columbia, of course, being a federal governed entity, D.C., they have a U.S. attorney, so they can bring to bear all of the resources of the Department of Justice. Swalwell being a longtime foe of President Trump, of course, the knives are out for him. So whether or not they find any other allegations or evidence of his conduct remains to be seen. Certainly, we're wondering if these are just discrete, two obviously terrible allegations if they are borne out to be true, or if there's a pattern and course of conduct more like a Puff Daddy type case that we saw last year. So whether or not he ultimately is charged, we'll have to wait and see.
All right, and he has denied the more serious allegations against him. He has said that he's made some errors in judgment. Dan, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate it. We'll see you next Monday for more of The Legal Landscape.